What's up, everybody? It's your girl Savannah Lisa again, and I'm back for another therapeutic rant. So when it comes to these episodes, I've actually written down like at least 15 episode ideas, but the problem for me is I just really like doing what I want to do. You know, that's kind of most of who I am now these days, of really just following my spirit and my heart and what feels good for me. And so today I actually got this idea from this girl whose tarots I watch a lot. She said basically one time, like, and I'll link her name maybe. I don't be wanting to because I hate the idea of people cross-watching people about me. She basically had this whole video talking about how hell was fun. And it was basically talking about, like, whenever, like, I was going through something, it was basically this feeling of people just being like, oh yeah, it was hell fun. Like, basically whenever I'm down, people are like, oh yeah, you like that. Like, they just, you know, be trying to be smart, trying to be like thinking stuff funny whenever something happens to me or humiliating or something like that. And people like to laugh at it and be like, ha 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 ha, you know, all that. But the thing that people don't realize about me is I can go through hell and have a ball. My hell was fun this time around. You know, I feel like we all go through hell and back in our own way. And sometimes we don't know it. Sometimes we're creating our own hells. But sometimes we do genuinely just keep ending up in these fucked up situations sometimes in life, to where it's kind of, I don't know. It's like you can sit down and do nothing, but somehow you just easily get caught up in everything. You know, like, it's just tower moments, stuff like that. Like, just these moments where you can't help it. And it don't always include like other people. Like, sometimes it's like, well, for example, for me, my hell that I've been through in the past 2 years would be, I got into a lot of car accidents. I talked about that in my last video, but I think I had a total of 5 car accidents, 5 or 6 in the past 2 years that I've lived in California. One of them being back in Michigan when I went back home to visit one time during that 2 years. I even had a car accident there. So I just had like a lot of like near death experiences, and that I was arrested for the first time. Don't get me wrong, I've gotten pulled over and I've gotten tickets before back in Michigan, but as far as being out here and just in general, this is the first time I've actually been in handcuffs and dealt with like systematic racism at its finest. I've been through a lot, from just losing people, you know, just literally life stuff. I feel these are all situations that we don't all go through, but I feel like they're definitely situations we all share, can share, especially with me and my community of the African American community. Just dealing with the being dismissed as a woman a lot, being racially profiled, being discriminated because of me being the youngest around but still smarter than everyone. Like, it's been a lot of these type of trials and tribulations in my hell that I still had a ball throughout, because all they've done was make me so much better. Like, I don't know, I've always been that person in life to where I'm confrontational, but I'm not confrontational just in the sense of like, oh, I'm willing to check anybody, oh, I'm willing to do this. I'm confrontational with myself. I've always been the type of person to where if I'm feeling something, I'm going through something, or if I feel guilty about something I've did, I'm diving off the deep end, straight into my feelings, straight into my isolation, straight into my pain, to really figure out what is going on. And I ain't gonna lie, a lot of that came from as a child. I was very disassociative as a child, and so there was a point where whenever I went through pain or something that was like emotionally heavy, that was probably like the one time that made feel like I was feeling something, even if it was sucky type deal. That's also why I ended up growing up with major depression disorder, because I got so used to wanting to be sad because that was the only way I knew how to feel as a kid. And so the point is, I just used to have this habit of when I went through stuff, and plus I was always so shy and I always naturally isolated myself. I always felt like I didn't have no choice but to deal with myself. I was scared to let other people deal with me. So growing up, I've always dealt with my own demons, silently, honestly, or even just with few people. 1 second. Regardless, every time I've been through a period in my life where I felt like I was going through hell, like my own mental hell, my own financial hell, physical hell, any of that, I'm not gonna lie, I do feel like, that's why I got this tattoo. It says, "What's inside me never dies," because I've been brought down to my lowest before. Like, trust me, even in the past 2 years, I've even somehow gotten back to depressive thoughts at one point. Gladly, I will say, and I'm going to say this because I'm proud of myself, and I'm proud that I'm acknowledging I had those thoughts, and when I had them, I acknowledged them, and I instantly acknowledged it, and instantly worked on it, and it instantly went away. I instantly fought that demon. I do not have suicidal thoughts anymore. I haven't for over a year. I'm gonna say 2 years. Like I said, I did have one moment in the past 2 years, but I bounced back out of it so much better than before. I'd rather make that as an accomplishment of my mental strength rather than saying like, oh damn, she don't fail back. Because I really feel like the reason I even got to that moment was because I was being tested to see if I really was mentally strong, like I've been trying to build myself to be. Because as I went through that moment, I realized like I was still highly favored. Like that's what people doesn't realize was what kept me going the past 2 years. When I went through these tribulations, when I was confused about who I was, when I was confused about just life in general, when I was hurt by life, when all of that, I still had the perfect apartment. I still have an exotic cat. I still have a exotic boyfriend, if you ask me. That, I ain't gonna lie, me and my boyfriend being together in general, that was probably one of the biggest blessings that made hell so much fun. Cause I ain't gonna lie, me and my boyfriend have a ball. Yeah, nah, hell with him was really fun. I think the blessing of just not going through things alone finally has really profoundly made things not even feel like hell. Cause I've been through stuff with people. I've caught a case with one of my old guy friends. I've, got into some bullshit on W missions with some of my old female friends. Like, I've been in situations, I've been in my own car accidents by myself. But I went through all of those situations alone. Like when it came to handling stuff and making sure the repercussions didn't go too far or just anything, I have to do my own damage control for my own situation every time. And whenever I tried to do something else, it was kind of like seemed as weird. I don't know. I feel like a lot of my life, whenever I tried to just feel connected to people or be like this ride or die person with them, or in some type of way, it always came off as overbearing or too much or just weird. Because I feel like people feel like I was either dick sucking or I just cared too much. And my whole thing is, you're just shallow, honestly. But that's besides the point. Like, every time I went through hell, though, it was right after I did something that was like the best time of my life. Like, most car accidents, we had just came back from vacation, or we was out with like our favorite friends type deal, and we literally be right down the fucking street from the house. Man, I'm telling you. I'm also pretty convinced that some like people have been trying to do some type of magic on me. Do you believe in magic? I believe in all of the occult studies, like all of that metaphysical, like metaphysics. Is actually what I'm studying right now. I got into magic senior year at high school, and that year, either the senior year at high school or my freshman year of college, I only did money spells though. I ain't gonna lie, people, I don't know if you're into numerology as well, but if you know people with the personal number 8, or their number is 8, we're very business driven, we're very organized driven, we're very ambition, like make the plan, go do it, execute it. We are the expansion of the number 4, and so that's all I've ever did. And then I was doing it for a while, and I liked it because it got me close to my spirit, my spirit guides. Truly, like for the first time, because it taught me how to really engage with nature more. But once I did that, the first thing that I was told was to stop. Like my spirit guide says stop. Like it's not up to you to force the universe. You cannot force certain energies out there just because you want something, like doing too much magic or doing magic, all that. Like there's a bigger magic that I have access to that does not even need me even coming close to doing a ritual type deal. You are also more powerful than you think, and so you doing magic is making too strong of ripples into the universe, and we already have shit that we're doing. We're already got your back, like just chill. And that's basically what happened my freshman year of college, when I was basically like, alright, I'm not doing magic no more. Ever since that, I've been learning magic in just these bigger ways, I don't fully understand it yet to describe it to you guys, and a lot of it spirit tells me to keep to myself anyway, because I feel like until I really learn how to describe it, I don't want to be given a certain type of complex, or I just hate when people rather assume and think they know me so much. And so when I describe something, but I don't describe it at my best, they're like, oh no, she means she's this. Oh no, like I instantly knew about karma that came from it. And don't get me wrong, them money spells work. They work. I don't care what nobody say. Some worked instantly, and some took their time. But the ones that took their time came tenfold. But the ones that happened instantly, that was even crazy to me too. Like that. But someone's been trying to, and I know for a fact someone's actually been trying to. How do I explain this? Because Spirit's really about to talk through me right now, and so the way I'm about to describe the whole order and sequence of me knowing and me just understanding the whole situation, this is basically how it went down. Shit was going on. Now, keep in mind, I don't do spells, but I do stay protected. I am one of those people where I keep my energy clean. I keep certain stuff around me that just keeps vibrations at a certain level to where anything lower than that can't even be recognized, And so, and it's not in the biggest way. I don't really, like I said, I don't do spells. I don't really do rituals. It's really more so a respect that I give. I definitely work with crystals just because I do believe in that, because they're part of the earth, like I don't think crystals should be extra expensive and stuff like that to be known that it works at all. But anything that comes from the earth is considered to be, part of Mother Earth. And so I do believe all crystals work. But I don't believe it's as simple as just like you just have this crystal. It's also about just acknowledging. I feel like acknowledgement. I feel like the universe loves you more when you acknowledge it, When you acknowledge that they are trying, when you acknowledge that there is this other force that's actually trying to help you, or that is with you, or just different forces that's making stuff happen in the world, when you can at least acknowledge those forces and pay some type of respect, that's good enough. If you ask me, that is well enough for your spirituality. Just as a start, like I said, everybody got their own way of being spiritual, but yeah, I'm sorry I keep digressing. The point of this whole video is how hell is fun. But I guess I can't explain that to you guys if I don't talk about what made it fun. And that was me knowing I was protected, me getting into my more psychic abilities, me having more genuine connections with the people in my life, me having and maintaining real true love around me. All of those things is what made it fun. Following my heart is what made it fun. I ain't gonna lie, I hate to say it, and I do not want to get back in another car accident, but a lot of those car accidents, they happen right after we had the best time of our lives. The most recent one I got into, I don't know if you guys can see, but I do have sores from it. They're kind of right there. I actually jammed my knee in that one. Don't get me wrong, I know it's tough. But if you're genuinely with somebody who just wants you to be happy, that's it. I swear to God, it's really just that. We all just want to be happy, and we know if that meant we had to be happy by ourselves, then we would. But when I say, I feel like a lot of it is also because people was doing a lot of hexes and stuff, because a lot of people realize they're getting left behind. And a lot of people realize there's nothing they can do about it. A lot of people realize it's happening without me even having to say something. It's happening without me even having to do anything. I am a girl where I'm very big on cutting energy off, though. I might not make a big scene all the time. There are some people where I am going to let you know how I feel and what the fuck is going on if you don't block me with your scary ass beforehand. But there's a lot of situations to where I feel like people understand now that I have been in my peace for 2 years. I've been in a whole different place, a whole different life, whole different faces, whole different opportunities, completely different energy. I want to say when I first moved out here, I definitely was thinking about my friends and stuff. But even then, ever since I moved out here, it's been forward thinking. And I've just been like, I want my friends to come out here too. They all need to come out here and see me and this and that. But before it even happened, a lot of them cut themselves off. Well, I ain't gonna say cut themselves off. They got themselves cut off, and then I cut them off. And I just kept on moving forward. Because my whole thing is, I don't know what anybody has thought or been told, but I've never been the person to stop what I'm doing for anybody. I still don't even do it for my boyfriend. And don't get me wrong, he does get frustrated and stuff like that sometimes because of that. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a follower. I've never been a follower. I'm always down to know you and know the things you like and what you want to do, and that's cool. But that doesn't mean I don't respect myself enough to still choose me and do what I want to do. I don't have to settle and do shit with other people. I want to bond with them. This is what they want to do, but what they want to do is low vibrational. They want to hang around people that do the same stuff, or it's not good for them. They want to hang around places that's not actually benefiting them. It's just keeping them in a circle they know they don't need to be a part of. If you become an enabler, too busy trying to let everybody else be comfortable. They trying to do this, let's do that. And I'm not that, because I'm not a low vibrational person. I'm not a person that just is reckless with their energy. I'm just not that girl, to where I ain't gonna say I don't care, because I do care. I do feel like I give off I don't care energy a lot, because I am very nonchalant, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm the queen of keeping my cool. I don't be not pressing me. But at the same time, I feel like that's something that is very misunderstood with me. I have things to do. I have things I want to feel. I have places I want to see. I have information I need to know. You know, there's just so much out of life that I want and need, you know, and they're very specific. I don't just want any and everything. I can't sit here and look at trends and be like, oh, I want that too. The only trend right now that I want is a fucking Tesla, which I am getting. It's in the atmosphere. It's happening. I'm willing it because I'm afraid of cars now, and that's the only car that makes me feel safe. And so I don't care if it's a trend, I'm getting it. It's the only car that makes me feel safe. That's why I'm getting it. And it's a nice ass car. And you don't have to pay gas. It's $7, $8 for gas in California. All you motherfuckers who been complaining about $4 or $5 for the past fucking year, I want what I want for why I want it, and it will always be that way. And I don't know how to get everything firsthand, but Spirit always tells me. That's why it's always so easy for me to kind of get things, and that's why I feel like people kind of look at me a lot and think I just get everything I want. And the thing is, I do. It's not because a man who gives it to me. It's not because spoiled parents. It's not because of, you know, some extra fancy job. It's genuinely being sponsored by God. It's genuinely actually being able to hear certain messages and translate it through your life to really make your life, you know, how it's supposed to, not even just how it's supposed to be, how you want it, but how you're supposed to be, you know, because we all want a certain life, but we're all also here for a mission, you know, and so we can all want a certain life all we want, but Spirit's never gonna let us get too far from the life that we're supposed to be living as well, you know, like there's a lot of shit going on, and I am gonna make a video about that one day, I promise you. I'm gonna have a whole video one day of just telling you guys of basically just having a whole video of explaining certain messages and information I've gotten that's been explaining the times, the movement, shift in consciousness, you know, because I'm just one of those people to where I gotta do what I want to do, you know, like I respect what everybody wants to do and I love what everybody wants to do, but that is not me. I want to do it, and I ain't gonna lie, I like being on my own time as well. I don't like waiting at all. Please don't ever invite me somewhere and think I'm about to be the girl that's standing behind you waiting for you to handle whatever you handle the whole time. It's not happening. I'm going to go find a new friend. I promise you I am. I promise you I am. And by the time you find me, I done made all new friends because you done thought I was about to be at that function, following your ass, being a part of whatever you doing like I'm not my own person. Ooh, I hate when people try to make me feel like I'm not my own person. I think the point I was getting to was the fact that hell also shaped me to be like this person, like to really just be so like fuck it, I might as well love me, like, cause I don't know, I feel like everybody definitely does get their own spiritual knowledge in their own way, and I feel like with me, because I mean, don't get me wrong, I've trained myself a lot to learn how to, you know, get that experience positively, but I feel like getting that experience negatively is also like good as well, because it really builds a different type of strength, you know, because I'm a Pisces. When I go through hell, I do tend to have that martyr mindset, and so I feel like going through hell is what makes it better for me, because it helps strip away that, and it helps me to be like, no, fuck that, I'm choosing me. There's no reason to not choose me. There's no reason to not be that bitch. And there's really no reason to not fuck you up if you want to keep trying me. You know, like, it comes with this boss energy when you go through things negatively. Like, you can go through things positively. And, because I was actually just watching a video about that, what is enlightenment? And somebody was really telling me about the left field of enlightenment and the right field. And the right feel is basically like, the positive. You know what you're here for, you're doing it, you're just being that loving light. And the left is the more trauma bound enlightenment, the more experience of pain type that enlightens you, where you take that pain and you can turn it into something else, and more importantly, something better, because you can always turn pain and negative emotions into worse emotions. I think the reason it works so perfectly for me is because, like I said, with me being a Pisces and me acknowledging that I used to basically always have that martyr victim mindset, when I went through the more pain type of hell, or the more like, hell type of enlightenment, that created a more boss energy, because it really forced me to strip a lot of my ego, strip a lot of, just that beforehand victimizing. But I feel like it came into boss because it originated from a sensitive place, a good sensitive place. Like, you don't feel like a martyr or a victim, like, for no reason. Like, when you're the person that's causing the drama, and when you feel like you're going through a lot of trauma. So I feel like the blessing, not the problem, but the blessing was the fact that because I was more like that, but I acknowledged that, and then I went through that hell, I feel like that's what created this boss energy, because it is a genuine I've been through it feeling now. It is a genuine feeling, like I had no choice to be vulnerable the whole time because of the fact that I had a victim mindset. But yet I was still going through hell that had no mercy, because the thing about hell is, when you're going through hell, you can sit there and cry like the victim all you want, but that's not going to change your circumstances. And I'm not going to lie, I used to think that it would, because I used to be the type to where I had not with people, but it was more so with the universe a lot. Like, when shit wasn't going my way or something wasn't happening, I would just basically go in my room and cry and beg the universe for why is this happening. Basically just go and be a crybaby to the universe of every little inconvenience. After a while, universe was like, yeah, we don't give a fuck about your crying no more. You gotta get this shit together. And so I was repeatedly going through shit that just kind of had me like, wow, I can't play the victim. I really gotta boss up and get myself out of this shit. Because if you don't, you're gonna be stuck. And I ain't gonna lie, when I got to those points, I've gotten so low. I felt so much of nothing for myself. I promised myself I would never go back to that. And so that meant I had to do everything for me. I had to live selfishly, because not even wanting to be here, not even wanting anything for yourself, like anything good for you, like that shit, that's ungodly. That's an ungodly feeling. And I don't mean to say it in a religious way or nothing, because most people know I'm not religious, very spiritual. But when I say godly, I just mean it's very, very far from source. It's a feeling very far from source. It's a very lonely, and don't get me wrong, a lot of us know what it's like to be lonely and alone. But I don't think anybody truly knows what it means to be alone until you don't have a spirit. Until you realize you don't have no sense of belief in anything. That's when you feel alone. Because we can always feel alone and something like that, but we always somehow subconsciously end up praying to somebody, and even though it still doesn't fix the reality, it still does give some comfort to some people, like, okay, you're talking to somebody other than yourself. I've been one of those people to where I felt I didn't have no one in here, no spirit, no nothing to talk to. Like, I actually came into this world feeling like that because I wasn't raised with religion, and everyone around me was so Christian based. Everybody went to church. Like, every time I went to a friend's house, they went to church. I went to church with them. But my family, we were watching football every Sunday morning. We were doing laundry. We were cleaning the house. That was what we did. They definitely definitely gave me an acknowledgement of God and who God is, but they just did not raise me with any type of systematic religion. So, but I was also going through a lot of trauma as a kid, and so even as a kid, I went through these thoughts of just wanting to not be here because I never even understood. Like, everybody used to tell me, like, oh, God loves me. Everybody says that. My mom tells me God loves me, so it's gonna be okay. You just gotta repent. Like, they recite all the things that their parents tell them from church and stuff like that, but they genuinely believe it. Like, they genuinely felt safer, even though they were just listening to words in mouth. But for me, I had a bad experience with the church because I was that kid that just needed to know why. I was going through so much outside of church that when I went to church, it was important for me to just be like, why is this happening? Why? And instead of them like really identifying that, it was more so like, stop asking questions. You can't question the Lord and this and that. And that kind of fucked me up because as a kid, when you're going through a lot of trauma that you don't know how to explain, you don't know who to talk to and you can't talk to about, and then you go to the one place that everyone's telling you, like, oh no, God loves me, got this and that, and you ask them like for answers of what you're going through, and it's just dismissing or just a complete dismissal. That's very, very traumatizing. When I got back to that point though, in my adult life, when I went to college and I got to that point again, it's kind of hard to even talk about because it's hard to really remember and identify. And honestly, it's to not get too deep and distracted if I do, because that second time, that was really that second time is what had me really like, no, like, there's no debate. That was the incident that cut out all my doubt. It cut out all of my just questioning of who I am and what I want, because all my questions came from just trying to be something for somebody else. And after that, it was really just a hell bent on, no, this is my life. Like, this is my life. I gotta want to be here. I really have to tell myself, like, if I'm gonna be miserable like this, then I really am just gonna have to commit to doing it. But if not, then I need to be hell bent on being happy. And not many people know that, but it's very important to know, like, just so you can really understand where I am right now and why I am how I am. I really need it to be known how important it is to me to know that I have to want to be here. If I don't give myself any reasons to want to be alive, everything's over. Like, it's just it's a whole vortex that doesn't just impact me, but it's going to impact a lot of people. And so I'm hell bent on having things my way. I'm hell bent on following that voice that got me out of it. I'm hell bent on doing what's right, honestly. Not just for me, but just for this world. Like, I'm very hell bent because of those moments where I went without spirit. Because of those moments where I disassociated too much to really feel comfortable in this human experience. I've had a lot of hells in my life, and there's been a lot more, but it's really no point in talking about them, because like I said, I'm one of those people to where I used to go through that thing where, oh, what is this and that. I've learned so much. I've heard so many stories. I've met so many people. A lot of the stuff I've been through, multiple people have been through as well. That's actually part of the reason why I'm here now, feeling more confident even. Way close. But that's part of the reason why I'm even here now, being more comfortable and being more confident in my journey to even talk about it. Because even if I do shed light on things that are specific to me, I know for a fact out of the 7 billion people in this world, there's at least one other person that probably went through the exact same thing, just a different environment. Even if it is just me, I know it gives a certain lesson that others might not have been able to see or capture in their own lives, because I understand when you're going through stuff, you're not thinking about the lesson the whole time. You're just thinking about getting through it and, how to bounce back from it and shit. The way, it's always still important, even after when you get through and stuff, to still identify those lessons, because a lot of lessons, I don't know, plus just because of society we in, I've learned a lot of lessons we go through are always meant to kind of tell us we're unworthy. I don't know if anybody's peeped that, but has anybody ever peeped whenever you go through like the slightest inconvenience or anything to where you just feel like you don't have your shit together, or just the slightest mistake, the first feeling is unworthiness? Like, you get pain, you get sad, you get betrayal, like, with all the different situations that happen. Like, it's really something about the ways of our world and our society to where somebody's really trying to make us hate ourselves. I could put T on that in the spiritual realm, but like I said, that's going to be a different video. But especially for the Black community, first off, everybody goes through that where they feel unworthy and they question themselves, and it is a human feeling and experience. So I do not want to start by saying like, oh, it's just for Black people, but I do want to say, and like I said, I'm going to have another video. It's a little bit more educational based and stuff. I'm going into it, but I feel like there's a reason why Black communities has been like, why it's so aggressively been made for us all to just look so terrible, like aggressively. We all have our dirt, like every race, every person, every nationality, like their history all has their, their dirt or their events that what happened to them, and their stuff and their struggle as a people. We've all been through struggles as people in our respective lanes, but when it comes to Black people, African descendant people, there's an aggression. It's a very aggressive undertone with every single thing we do, where if we don't do something right or above and beyond, it's just noteworthy. Like, it's so easy to get, like, it's so easy for the initial message to be you're not worthy. Even when you go through something, that's just what's in your head. Like, it's the programming. It's so much programming of not being worthy. And it's so crazy. It'd be so hard to not shift subjects. It's hard for me to stay on the topic sometimes, but I feel like I'm still here. Like, the point is, that's part of our hell, is to consistently feel unworthy and like we just don't deserve. And I feel like personally, I've completely broken my generational curse. make shit harder for me. And it made it harder, but it also sped up my expansion because it wasn't like any unnecessary life trauma came into my life. It was literally like things that I felt like I would have just experienced anyway and was going to be unavoidable. It's like all of those just got pushed forward, and I was just forced to deal with all these lessons a little bit faster and a little bit more compacted. But that was still nothing to me. Like I don't know. My head is always ready. I feel connected. I feel very connected to the universe, and so it's very weird to say how my brain works when things happen. Like everything feels in my reach all the time, mentally, and it's very weird, but amazing. I want to thank the person who tried to enforce a hell, like more hell on me and my lover, because I don't even think it's understood. Like the past 2 years of all the shit that we've been through, I really don't think it's understood how much it sped up the blessings. Cause I don't know, it's something I love being an intelligent being. Someone who's capable of learning, someone who's capable of growing, someone who's capable of acknowledgement, realizations, epiphanies, all of that. Like forever grateful, because that's what made hell fun. I think the funnest part about hell was the fact that you're still existing on this different plane. Like you're still above the 3D shit. Like I feel it's very contradicting just because of the terms. Did you hear hell and heaven, and you always think of middle plane, so you always think of like this middle, basic human stuff that everybody is used to. That's whatever. Expand from that for 1 second and listen to me. The 3D is hell. This physical world we're in is the actual hell. The things we go through, the struggle here, the things that we let continuously bother us and impose on our lives, our beliefs, the way we treat people, that all has to do with this world. This is the hell. This is the place that is disconnected from everything. It's when you're learning your lessons, when you're feeling grateful, when you're going through these immense feelings and transcending yourself in different ways. That is when you're somewhere else. That is when you're co-creating with the universe. That's when you're evolving your own consciousness. That's when you're literally nurturing your consciousness. Honestly, it's very fun, and it's like, yeah, you're going hard. It's going like, yeah, it's hard. You're going through hell, but at the same time, like, while I'm going through hell, I'm also looking at the universe like, you really trying it, huh? Like, I'm communicating with the universe, like at the same time, like I'm still looking like, wow, what the fuck? I'm being pushed into this whole different place. And it's just so amazing because even when that hell is done, it's not like I come back to this third world. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. I feel like I really need somebody that creates more on a different plane, more than the 3D. And I feel like that's why I'm always taken care of on this world. Alright, I'm back, you guys. Did a little intermission. But the point that I was getting to was basically that when I say I went through hell, I mean I went through hell like everybody else in physical world. But when I say it in a more mental place, I feel like when people are going through obstacles and stuff, they feel like they're going through hell. And I feel like that's like, it's like a hell, but it's different because the lessons and the forces that you're still experiencing is still from source, if that makes sense. So whenever you're feeling like love and light and you're just up here, whatever, that's being enlightened, and that's, not being, stuck in hell. But I feel like when you're thinking about your lessons and your karma and stuff like that, and I guess the more negative side of it, that's still enlightenment, because that's acknowledgement to consequences of recklessly, not handling your energy well. So at the end of the day, like, it might be a lower form of source, but you're still a lot closer to source than if you're just down here on earth acting like a robot, or just like this empty vessel that's just here giving people a hard time, or just causing chaos and toxicity, or just taking up space too, all of that. Like, that's hell. Not being able to feel your soul, if you ask me. With all that being said, I know I'm still visit hell again, so I'm gonna be. It's hard to avoid the 3D problems, so I'm pretty sure it's still gonna come and still gonna happen. But you have never been through hell until you've done it with God by your side. This was also the big difference this time compared to before. I'm used to going through hell feeling alone. For the past 2 years, every ounce of hell I went through, I felt intensely way more protected than I ever had in my entire life. I never thought I was gonna die. When things happened, like, it was afterwards when I realized how close and all this craziness that was going on. But during the moment, never thought I was gonna die. Even when it was like financial situations, and we might have took a big ass L for a month or so. I never felt like it was gonna come back tenfold. And even then, like, we're still waiting on some stuff to kind of get back to us. But I'm not even rushing it, because it hasn't stopped. Like, I don't know. It's something about. It's like the universe been just giving me things. I don't know how to explain it. I feel like the more I get through stuff, the more I acknowledge myself, the more I even get into this space of gonna talk to you guys and just get this out more. I already feel healthier within myself, closer to spirit, and I feel very favored. I feel like it's really nothing that could ever stop me. From just doing the things I want to do, getting the things I want. It's a very beautiful feeling. I think I am gonna wrap this video up to that. But to send you guys off, I do want to say thank you so much for everyone who's been commenting, liking, and watching so far. People who've been sharing my post about me dropping. I really genuinely do hope more people kind of join me. I mean, I'm honestly would not be upset, but at the same time, like, I think this will get a lot more fun. I feel like I'm gonna get a lot more